It's a matter of opinion. If I'm right, but I'm leaving no for now to go outside, putting shores and obligations on our pride.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Matter of Opinion. I'm your boy Walls P.
I'm your girl, Erica.
And today we got a very interesting topic for you, ladies and gentlemen. This one's crazy. I read the article and everything like that, but we're going to give you guys some background to this crazy story. We're going to basically do a walkthrough. So without further ado, let's not waste nobody's time and let's get to this video walkthrough of this crazy story.
Group of parents in the Rochester City School District sounding the alarm after their kids came home this week saying a teacher at School of the Arts made racist remarks and had students participate in racist activities. Amel Alhal spoke to two of those parents and their students and has more on this story now.
Adam Teresa, the students I spoke with said this week the teacher in question brought in bags of cotton to school and made students pick out seeds. And on a separate occasion, the students said the teacher brought in shackles and handcuffs to use on the students during a lesson. Their mothers are outraged, and now they are calling on the district to do better.
He said, it's cotton, y'all gonna be picking cotton today. So I immediately was like, oh, I'm not doing that. And then he was like, do it, it's for a good grade.
Janasia Brown is a 7th grader at the School of the Arts and says being forced to pick cotton is not the first time her social studies teacher created a racist and hurtful learning environment.
She said, yes, Mom. He forced me to put handcuffs on my wrist. He put them on my wrist himself.
Vialma Ramos O'Neill says her son came home and told her the same things.
I honestly did not believe him because I never would have expected anything like that to be happening in this day and age.
The Rochester City School District has been made aware of these incidents. The district told News 8 the 7th grade social studies teacher was placed on leave and an investigation is underway. In a statement, RCSD wrote in part, quote, the district takes these situations very seriously as descriptions of what occurred in the classroom by the school community are extremely troubling. Jamir and Janasia say their teacher favored the white students in class. They said during the cotton picking incident, students in the class got up to throw out their cotton, refusing to participate. But it was only the white students who were allowed to do so.
My daughter gets up to go throw her cotton out. Why she can't go throw her cotton out? And you tell her, no, you have to sit down and finish picking the seeds out your cotton? Why you didn't tell the Caucasian kids they got to sit down and pick the seeds out their cotton? Why mine? Why the rest of them? That's totally unacceptable.
I just felt ashamed to be my own race. He made me feel that it was okay for white people to say this to me. He made me feel like he made me feel degraded.
The district is asking parents and their students who were involved in this incident to contact them with any information. Adam, Teresa, back to you.
That's crazy situation right there. Like, what is your take on that?
Okay, so I'm gonna put it out there. This is not the only time that situation's happened. It's happened probably pretty often over the last few years, where you have social studies teachers that are, one, being insensitive, two, probably going completely left field.
To the point that they're bringing cotton in the classroom and saying, hey, pick cotton and shackles?
I believe so. And the reason I'm going to say I believe so is I guarantee if you do a search within the last, I'm going to say 5 years, this is not the first time that this has happened. This might be the first time it's happened in Rochester, New York, but there have been some other stories about teachers bringing cotton to school, using derogatory remarks, being racist to Black students during lessons of slavery. And unfortunately, you have to think about the age brackets that these kids are. You're talking, these are probably it's a middle school. So you're talking probably 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. This particular video says that was a 7th grade kid. So if you're talking 7th grade, you're talking these kids got to be younger than 13 years old. This is disheartening, because my thing is, how do you go from one extreme to the other? I could see if you were bringing cotton in just so the kids could understand what they were doing, so you could show it around the class, but telling the student to pick cotton and only allowing the Caucasian kids to throw it in the garbage is a problem. Because my thing is, if you're teaching it and you're showing it to everybody, then everybody should be looking at it. Everybody should either be participating in the activity, or you could just have it on display. Like, hey, if you want to see what cotton with seeds look like, the display is right here and you can look at it.
Check this out. in the New York Post, the article about this on the New York Post, it said the two children also told their mothers that Rashi had made black students wear handcuffs and leg shackles early in the year. And when they failed to wiggle out of them, he allegedly said, "It's okay. Your ancestors couldn't either."
That is an extreme circumstance.
Yeah.
That is very extreme. My thing is, one, I don't want my child being handcuffed. Point blank, period. I don't care if this is in class or not. That is a problem.
And the fact that he let the white students not have to do it, so to speak, yeah. See, there's where I'm at with it because according to the article, he's being suspended with pay. Nah, as a history teacher, fire that man immediately. I don't care what kind of like I know there's proper steps that you got to take, but you fire him. And if the investigations say otherwise, that it wasn't true or whatever the case may be, then okay, reinstate him. But why are you penalizing him by letting him stay home and still giving him a check? That makes absolutely no sense to me. Fire that man ASAP. Like, do you
Okay,
think he
so
should
now
be?
the problem with that is it's like, one, you have to do the investigation. Two, this is clearly a social studies teacher. I feel like this school gave him too much of a free reign. I feel like the curriculum is taught down, hey, you have to teach this subject. I felt like, did he go too far with the lesson plan? Yes. I don't care that you're teaching about slavery. That is not the issue that I have. The issue that I have is you gave these kids cotton and you shackled them. That is the problem. I'm not telling you not to teach this in school. I'm telling you, you need to change the way that you're teaching this stuff. You have to be culturally appropriate. And if you're not
But
culturally appropriate, that is a problem.
But see, this is deliberate because he's a history teacher and he's teaching about slavery, which he's educated on what slavery is. So the fact that he's doing this, no, this was your intentions. That's why I'm like, no, I understand you got to go through procedures or whatever the case, but nah, fire him because you knew exactly what you were doing. And if you exempt the white kids from doing this, no, you need to be fired. I understand there's an investigation process, but nah, fire him, do the investigation, and if it comes back wrong, then reinstate him. Like
Yeah,
I
but the problem is once you fire him, it's a problem too because you have to think about it. These teachers have teachers unions depending on the schools that they're at. So you can't just automatically fire somebody. You have to do the investigation first before you let them go.
so there's never been a case where there's been swift actions where somebody got fired for something like that and then the investigation came later.
I don't know. I'm not a teacher. I'm not in a teachers union. I don't know what the rules are for that particular area. But that is the problem. Like, depending on what school district you're in, depending on what your contract says, yes, there are rules that they have to follow before they get rid of a teacher.
If I was the parents in that area, I would rally in the whole nine at that school, strike,
Well, and they
protest, whatever possible to get him fired like ASAP.
correct. And what I was going to say is if you look up that particular school, those parents are. They have a meeting on Zoom for everybody to participate if they want to within the next few days. So now they're basically backpedaling on, okay, what's culturally appropriate? What is not culturally appropriate? What are the actions that we are going to do with this teacher? Those are things that they're going to talk about in this, this open house type of forum because you're going to hear from the parents specifically for the kids that were in that person's class or the classes that that person is teaching. So that is something that the school is going to do, but it's going to take them a couple of days to set it up. It's not like it's something that, hey, we heard the incident today and we're doing this meeting today. It's usually going to take, a few days to go through. It's like, okay, let's hear what the teacher side of the story is. Okay, we got two parents that already came out and said, hey, this is what was going on. So yes, they have everybody going to start looking at on a school wide district, probably on a district level as well, so they could, put the pieces together and figure out what the next cause of action is.
Yo, as articulate as that sounds, I'm not a parent from that school or, had my son or anything go through that. But I'm telling you now, if that happened at my son's school, that teacher would have to be fired ASAP. I understand you got to go through protocols and all that stuff, but no, I want that man fired ASAP for his actions. Like, I don't care about all the procedures and the steps and all that because there's many of times where there's supposed to be procedures in place and it doesn't happen. This is one of them cases where I don't want no technical procedures. I want the man fired ASAP. I get it. you got to go through channels and stuff and all like that. But I'm talking, I mean, I guess it is me talking out of emotion, but that dude needs to be fired ASAP. That's the way I see it. Like,
No, like I said, I do feel like that teacher was excessive with the approach. I felt like it was inappropriate for the approach, especially for the age of those kids. It's a difference if he was teaching in high school or you're teaching in college, where even if you're teaching a college and you have adults in those circumstances, if they said they don't want to participate, then they have the right to up and leave. You have kids that are clearly telling you they don't want to participate, and you basically badgered them into participating. That is a
mhm,
problem. You are the adult in the
exactly.
situation. You are supposed to make sure that you're dealing with the children's feelings. This is supposed to be a safe space. This is a school. When you do things like that, that no longer makes the school a safe space for these kids.
You know what gets me is you could have a situation like the last video we covered where a teacher was playing loud disruptive music, got arrested and got immediately fired. But here you have a teacher who's blatantly being disrespectful, and now we got to go through procedures and proper channels to get this guy fired. To me, that's ridiculous, that's stupid, and I don't agree with it. That's where I stand.
Like I said, I wholeheartedly agree. I do feel like when the teacher first did the shackles, something should have happened.
Hmm.
But maybe the kids didn't speak up about it at first.
Of course
Because you're
not, because it's
talking
mind
that.
blowing. It's mind blowing. Like after something like that happened, like as a kid, you're like, "Yo, what the heck just happened?" Like you don't know how to react.
Correct. But my thing is, this teacher kept going. So it's like,
Hmm.
okay, so you push the envelope once. You're like, okay, let me see what I can do again. And now you're getting further and further down the rabbit hole. I feel like the more stuff that this teacher is doing and getting away with, the worse the circumstances are going to be. Now you have a group of kids. Yes, slavery was hard. I get that, but none of these kids know anybody who was a slave. So at this point, you're taking the parents' freedom away for them educating their own child about it. Because it's one thing for you to say, hey, this is what happened. It's something completely different when you're like, yo, you're having these kids pick seeds out of cotton.
You're
Now they're
basically
actually
making
getting
them
slaves.
experiencing it. You're basically making them experience it.
Correct.
So yeah,
My thing is, I feel like if the kids go on a school trip, they need a permission slip. If this is what you were going to do, maybe you should have sent the permission slip home to see if the kids and the parents were going to be okay with this.
that
And you
wouldn't
gave
fly
them a
because
choice.
he knew it wouldn't have been signed. There's something that he took on his own self. Like yeah, I understand trying to find like different ways where it could have been like not prevented, but ways where he could have took measures for it to be acceptable in his class. But that's not something that warrant you trying to get a curriculum to be accepted in your class because it's offensive, and you as a history teacher should know that it's offensive. Like
See,
I
but
don't.
and maybe the person in me is like, I get teachers come in different shades and forms, but I do feel like cultural appropriateness needs to be taught to teachers before they start teaching.
What's there to be taught to a history teacher about putting somebody in shackles and then making references about their ancestors couldn't do it either, and then you got them picking cotton? Like to me, it
What I'm
sounds like
saying
he
is he
blatant. Go on.
What I'm saying is he should have known that was not acceptable and not okay. He should not have did it to begin with. But my
Okay.
thing is, if you feel like these are things that you want to teach your class, something in the back of your mind should say, you know what, hold up, I'm going a little too extreme for this. You at no points at all did this teacher think in the back of his head, oh, this is going to be a problem. I'm going to have 20, 30 kids coming for my head.
Look,
No.
all I know is that teacher is lucky that dumb parents didn't come in there and it'd be a big misunderstanding.
Yeah, but the
That's
problem
all I
is, if it
know.
was a big misunderstanding, guess what? The parents be done got locked up. I feel like the teacher should be locked up, and maybe it's just me. You put handcuffs and shackles on my child. That's hindering the welfare of my child at this point. And I don't
Yeah.
care if it was for a minute. I don't care if it was for 5 seconds. The minute you put shackles on anybody's kid, that's false imprisonment, and you should have went to jail.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I agree with you 100%. And I even look at it from that dynamic. So I agree with you. In spite of him getting fired, he should be looking at some kind of charges. I agree. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Let us know what you guys think on this matter because, like I said, you know where I stand. This dude should be fired and possibly charges, placed against him. And you want to let them know exactly where you stand on the matter?
I'm the same way, and I also feel like his teaching license should be null and voided at this point. He should no longer be able to teach anybody's child or children ever again.
Got you. Let us know what you think in the comment section. We would love to hear your take on it. Do you think he should be fired? Do you think he was justified? Let us know exactly what your thoughts is on this topic, because I would love to hear it in the comment section. That's going to do it for this episode of Matter of Opinion. If you like the video, consider hitting that subscribe button, especially if it's your first time here, and clicking that notification bell. And if you want to follow us on all our social media platforms, the links are in the description. We will catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Please.
It's a matter of opinion.